welcome to the Joe Louis Arena, home of the largest wrestling tournament in the country. It's the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Division I and II individual wrestling state finals. 896 competitors arrived from around the state. 56 of these young men will be crowned champions here today. Hello everybody, I'm Ray Bentley, along with three-time national champion and former state champion Mark Chirella. And Mark, the second year that Joe Louis Arena has hosted these championships, and this is an exciting venue.
It's a very exciting venue. This is the second year, Ray, as you had mentioned, that the championships have been hosted here at Joe Louis Arena. This is a part of the dream that the Michigan State High School Athletic Association and their director, Bill Bupp, has brought to fruition. It's an exciting time, and it's a great competition day for all Michigan high school wrestlers.
Now, you know a lot about this from participating in it, but you also coach a team, Novi, and you have two sons as well that are competing here in this tournament, so it means an awful lot, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly does. Not only does it mean a lot to me and obviously the boys that I coach, it also means a lot to all the individual wrestling fans here in the state of Michigan that for the second year have an opportunity to watch Michigan high school wrestling in one venue, all four divisions. It makes for a great time.
Let's get to those wrestling divisions, actually weight classes. There are 14 different weight classes. Mark, can you take us through them?
Sure. The weight classes are 103 pounds, 112 pounds, 119, 125, 130 pounds, 135, 140, 145, 152, 160 pounds, 171, 189, 215, and the big boys at heavyweight, 275.
And you said the big boys, and that's where we'll get started. We'll start out with the big boys. Let's go to the action at 275. Andy Eisler, a senior from Grand Ledge, is our first wrestler, 48-0 on the year, and he'll take on Nick LaFear, another senior from Davidson. LaFear with a school record 49 pins, pinned one man in 7 seconds.
With LaFear up 2-1, after being awarded a point late in the second period for Eisler stalling, Eisler starts the third period in the bottom position. Eisler scores 1 point with a stand-up to tie the score 2-2. Eisler immediately goes on the attack and finishes a great single-leg takedown to take a 4-2 lead. LaFear scores an escape to bring the match within 1 point at 4-3. LaFear's single-leg attempt is countered by Eisler. Eisler scores the takedown with 3 seconds left on the clock to extend his lead to 6-3.
And that's how it ends, and Andy Eisler is the champion from Grand Ledge. An undefeated 49-0 season. And now we'll go to Division II, 275-pound class. Eric Gajcek, a senior from Oxford High School, who was the runner-up last year, will take on Dan Heinz, a senior from Grand Rapids Catholic Central, who finished 8th last year.
Gajcek scores 2 points in the first period with an underhook throw-by setup into a powerful single-leg takedown finish. Heinz powers his way into a stand-up and scores a 1 point escape. Gajcek hits an explosive single-leg takedown for 2 points and scores a 3-point near fall with an inside leg Turk and nearly pins Heinz. Gajcek hits Heinz with an impressive double-leg takedown to take a commanding 9-1 lead in the second period.
And Eric Gajcek goes on to win 14-1, and he is the champion in Division II at 275 pounds. And now we'll drop down to the 103-pound level in Division I as Josh Gunterman, the defending champion from Livonia Stevenson, puts his undefeated record on the line against Jimmy Shutich, a freshman from Rockford with a 50-3 record. Those 50 wins, the most ever by a freshman at Rockford.
Gunterman takes an early lead in the first period, scoring a 2-point takedown with a front headlock throw-by. At the end of the second period, with 1 second remaining on the clock, Shutich scores his first point of the match with an outstanding Granby roll for a 1-point escape. Gunterman elects to start the third period in the neutral position and immediately scores a 2-point takedown in the first 10 seconds of the period with a quick duck under. Late in the third period, Gunterman is hit for his second stalling warning, and Shutich is awarded 1 point. Gunterman goes on to win 4-2.
And Josh Gunterman repeats as the champion at 103 pounds, the senior from Livonia Stevenson. And now we go to Division II, the 103-pound match. Paul Schaefer, a sophomore out of Mount Pleasant, 57-0 on the year, was 5th in last year's tournament, takes on Greg Sieber, a junior from Lake Odessa Lakewood High School. He was the district champ and second in the regionals. We pick up the action in the second period with Sieber leading 3-1.
Schaefer shoots and finishes a powerful high crotch takedown to tie the match 3-3. With 5 seconds remaining in the third period, Sieber counters Schaefer's high crotch takedown attempt, gets behind him and forces him to the mat to score a 2-point takedown to win the match.
Greg Sieber from Lake Odessa Lakewood, the state champion at 103 pounds with the 6-4 win. And now we go to the Division I 112-pound match where Brooks Cozart, a senior out of Howell High School and a 3-time state qualifier, will take on Jordan Early, a junior from East Kentwood. Early was second at 103 pounds in last season's tournament.
We pick up the action early in the second period with Early up 1-0. After several takedown attempts, Cozart scores his first points of the match on a hard-fought single-leg takedown and almost scores a near fall as time runs out. After scoring a 1-point escape early in the third period to take a 3-1 lead, Early counters Cozart's single-leg takedown to score a 2-point takedown and tie the score at 3-3. Cozart regains the lead with a 1-point escape and catches Early off balance with a lateral drop to score a 2-point takedown and 2-point near fall, making the score 9-3. Early comes right back, scoring a 2-point reversal with a great high turn-in to make the score 9-5.
And that's how it ended. Brooks Cozart of Howell decisions Jordan Early. And now the 112-pound match in Division II. Nick Emery, a junior from Cedar Springs High School, took 7th in the state last year, takes on Lambros Katalis, a sophomore from Fenton. Katalis, 5th in the state last season, has 94 wins in just 2 years of wrestling.
Leading in the second period 3-0, Katalis scores a 2-point takedown with a very slick duck under. Emery scores his first points of the match, battling very hard to gain the neutral position with a stand-up. Katalis fights off an awesome takedown attempt by Emery and scores a 2-point takedown. Leading 9-1 in the third period, Katalis punishes Emery with a vicious power half Nelson and scores a 3-point near fall to extend his lead 12-1.
And that is how the match ended, and it is Lambros Katalis of Fenton, the state champion in Division II at 112 pounds. And stick around because coming up, we're going to show you a young lady who is making waves in this tournament. That's right, a young lady. You're watching the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Individual Wrestling Finals. Welcome back to Joe Louis Arena, everybody. The Michigan State High School Athletic Association's Division I and II Wrestling State Championships. And our next feature is about Kirsten Leel of Davidson High School, one of 3 girls to make it to the state finals in wrestling this year. Here is Kirsten's story.
She's amazing. She's a great teammate. She's a great person to have in the room. She's a great kid.
My stepbrothers wrestled like 6 years ago, and I went to one of their meets, and I was like, hey, I want to try it. So I did, and that's how I kind of got started. My first year, I didn't win a match. I seriously didn't win a match. My second year, I was state champ in Little League, though, so that kind of worked out pretty good. I just started working hard. We got wrestling mats, and I just started really, really concentrating on wrestling to be my main sport.
Kirsten's such a high performer. She's a terrific kid. She can handle it. She's brought more people just to the sport because people come to watch her, and we love that. Maybe they come and get excited about wrestling, you know? So she's drawing people in, and it's good for the sport.
I see her as just an athlete. She's a hard worker. She's in the room pretty much every day, and she's working hard with our guys, so she helps our team out. I'm glad she's doing really well this year.
My dad coached me at first, and Coach Hall's brother Eric kind of like taught me all the moves and stuff, because my dad he never wrestled, so like he didn't know a lot, but he like drove me. He was like very determined. So my dad drove me, and then Coach Hall's brother Eric, he helped me a lot, and then Coach Hall in high school just pushes me even further. He just finishes everything for me. Intensity is a main like part of Davidson wrestling. We're really, really intense. Our whole practices are intense. So when I go out there, I just think that it's a practice, you know? So that's how I kind of look at it. I try to get something out of it, like learn something or watch the tape and work on that move that I didn't quite hit or I almost hit it, and try to work on that. So that way in my next match I can hit that move instead of just missing it. I want a place in the States. I want to be up there with just like any other kid who's going to states. They want to place, and I want to place. I want to get a medal in states.
Kirsten Leel, one of 3 girls to make the state championships here, and that's an amazing story.
Kirsten Leel's the real deal. She has 50 wins this year. She earned her spot here at the state championships.
We'll be back with more Division 1 and 2 state championship action after this. Welcome back to Joe Louis Arena. And now we go to Division 1, 119 pounds. Danny Jilg, a senior from Novi, who was 8th in the state as a freshman, 4th as a sophomore, 2nd last year, looking for a championship. He'll take on Ron Thompson, a senior from Salem, who was 7th in the state last season.
Jilg scores the first points of the match late in the first period with a fireman's carry takedown to take a 2-0 lead. Jilg adds to his lead, scoring a 1-point escape with a stand-up. With Jilg up 4-0 in the third period, Thompson scores his first point of the match with a stand-up for a 1-point escape, making the score 4-1. After Thompson is awarded an additional point for stalling, Jilg goes on to win 4-2.
Dan Jilg, the champion in Division 1 at 119 pounds. And now for the Division 2 matchup at 119 pounds. Chris Edwards, a junior from Jackson Northwest High School, finished 4th in this tournament last year, has a 3.96 grade point average, and he'll need that as he takes on Jason Fellows, a sophomore from Lapeer West High School. Fellows with 110 wins in just 2 years.
Leading 6-3, Edwards selects the neutral position on his feet to start the second period. Edwards shoots an excellent single-leg takedown and scores 2 points to increase his lead to 8-3. Edwards cuts Fellows loose, and Fellows scores a 1-point escape. In the third period, leading 10-6, Edwards reverses Fellows with a side roll to a half Nelson combination, scoring a 2-point reversal and 2-point near fall. Fellows works off his back and reverses Edwards for 2 points, making the score 14-8.
And that is how it ended, 14-8. Chris Edwards in a high-scoring match, the champion from Jackson Northwest. And now to Division 1, the 125-pound match. Ryan Nowitzki, a senior from Monroe, 47-0 this year, finished 4th last season, has 133 wins in his career. That ties a school record. He'll go for the record against Scott Walker, a senior from Flushing. Walker finished 5th in 98 and 4th last season. He has 185 career wins.
We pick up the action in the second period with Nowitzki leading 1-0. Walker hits an outstanding duck under that takes Nowitzki to his back, scoring a 2-point takedown and 3-point near fall to put Walker in the lead 5-1. Nowitzki fights off his back and scores a 1-point escape. In the third period, with Walker leading 6-2, Nowitzki scores a 2-point takedown with an outstanding duck under to a double-leg finish to make the score 6-4.
And Nowitzki's rally falls just short, as that is how it ends, 6-4. Scott Walker of Flushing is the 125-pound champion for Division 1. Now in Division 2 at 125, Jim Gottschall, a junior from Birmingham Seaholm High School, undefeated on the year, finished 7th in this tournament last year, has 128 career wins. That's a Birmingham Seaholm record. He'll take on Scott Pushman, a senior from Fenton. Pushman, state champion in 98 and in 99, holds 8 school records at Fenton.
We start the second period action with Gottschall leading 1-0. Gottschall attacks Pushman with a tenacious fireman's carry and scores a 2-point takedown to increase his lead 3-0. After Gottschall was penalized for stalling, Pushman was awarded 1 point and scored another point with a short sit-out escape, making the score 3-2. In the third period, with the score 4-3, Gottschall counters Pushman's intense high-crotch takedown attempt and scores 2 points to take a 6-3 lead.
And this battle ends 6-4, the same as the Division 1 125-pound score. Jim Gottschall of Birmingham Seaholm is the state champion. And now for the Division 1 130-pound matchup, a wrestler you're very familiar with, Mark, Ryan Chirella, your son, a junior from Novi High School, finished 2nd in this tournament in a heartbreaking loss last year, trying to avenge that against Reginald Torrance, a senior from Northville, who was 3rd in last season's tournament.
A crosstown rivalry and 2 of my favorite wrestlers, Ryan and Reggie. With the match tied 3-3 in the second period, Chirella spins behind Torrance to score a 2-point takedown and take the lead 5-3. Chirella chooses the bottom position to start the third period. Torrance catches Chirella in a very tight cross-arm Navy ride combination to score a 3-point near fall and take a 6-5 lead. With 34 seconds remaining in the third period, Chirella hits an awesome switch and steps over Torrance to score a 2-point reversal to take the lead 7-6.
Just like Dad taught him, and Ryan Chirella is the champion in Division I, the 130-pound match. Now for Division II at 130 pounds, Jason Borelli, who is the son of Central Michigan's wrestling coach Tom Borelli, is a senior from Mount Pleasant. Borelli 60-0 and the defending champion, also finished third in 1998, and he takes on Joe Fortier, a senior from Grand Rapids Northview. Fortier, sixth in 1999, was the conference, district, and regional champion.
Borelli scores in the first period with an excellent double-leg takedown to take a 2-0 lead over Fortier. With Borelli leading 4-1 in the third period, Borelli counters Fortier's high crotch attempt and scores a 2-point takedown. Fortier scores a 1-point escape. Borelli quickly shucks him by to score a 2-point takedown to take a 10-4 lead.
And Jason Borelli defends his championship at 130 pounds in Division II as he goes on to win. Stay tuned, because coming up, we're going to have a look at a team from Lowell who has overcome unbelievable obstacles to have a great season this year. You're watching the Michigan High School Athletic Association's State Wrestling Championships for Division I and II. Welcome back to Joe Louis Arena, the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Division I and II individual state wrestling finals. I'm Ray Bentley, and our next feature is on a Division II school, the Lowell Red Arrows. Tragedy struck Lowell last year. Their coach, Gary Rivers, passed away. This year, the team has bonded together. Not only are they a team, they're a family. Here's their story.
You can't get a tradition except by having, it's a thing that's built through the years upon years upon years. And once you have that, no one can take away tradition. You can't lose it. You've always got it. And once you've got it, you always believe that you can rise to that same level.
Lowell wrestling is all about tradition. We set a national record for the amount of brothers on a team. We had, I believe, seven brothers on one team.
Bill Stuffer is my cousin. We're first cousins. We've wrestled all along. He's always been a step ahead of me, but I mean, I'm fighting right in there. And my dad started the tradition. He was a state champ. He was Lowell's last state champ, in fact, before Bill was last year.
The number of second-generation wrestlers that we have on the team, you can't help but find the tradition running all the way through the program. This is my 7th year with the team, and the first 5 years were with Coach Rivers, who passed away, and during that time that I was Coach Rivers' assistant, boy, I got such an excellent education. Most young coaches don't get a chance to really come out and get educated. They have to learn the hard way a lot of times, and he taught me things that you can't learn except from others.
We have 9 kids going to the individual finals, which is the most wrestlers we've ever had. And kids are still wrestling like it means something, and because it does. Our team, we train like crazy. We run up ski hills with logs on our backs. All through the winter, we were running up hills with foot-deep snow, running through the woods. We train like madmen, and that's what wins it.
It's very intense. You're going all gusto for 6 minutes after that kid, and I mean, it's a great sport to build friendships, because I mean, when you come off the mat, you never really have too many enemies, because even though you might beat a kid, I mean, I like to go and talk to him, nice job, It's just the way, that's what makes the sport fun to me.
We just really come together as a team, as a family, and we're a brotherhood, and it's a really neat relationship, and you know that regardless of whether you win or lose, your brothers are there for you. And I think more than anything, that's what we'll take away from this weekend, without a doubt.
Well, what a great story, the Lowell Red Arrows wrestling team.
It's been an emotional season for them. It's been wonderful to see them finish second in the state, just one short of their dream of being team state champions.
We'll be back with more Division I and II wrestling action after these messages. We're back here at the biggest wrestling tournament in the nation, Joe Louis Arena, the site, and we'll pick up action at 135 pounds, the Division I matchup. Justin Sinclair, a junior out of Forest Hills Central, 45-2 on the season with 106 career wins, takes on Joey Whitman, a junior from Davidson, 56-0 on the year. Whitman, also an all-state performer in cross country.
Sinclair gets off to an early lead in the first period with a high crotch to a double leg takedown to score the first 2 points of the match. In the third period, with Sinclair leading 11-5, Whitman scores a 2-point takedown to narrow the margin 11-7. Sinclair reverses Whitman to score 2 points. Whitman quickly scores a 1-point escape and 2-point takedown. Sinclair controls the remaining seconds of the match to win 16-12.
Justin Sinclair, the winner of the shootout, and he is the champion for Division I at 135 pounds. In Division II, the 135 matchup pits Matt Cataline, a sophomore from Eaton Rapids with 59 career wins, against Rory Medina, a senior from Lapeer West. 53-3 his record on the year. He has 183 career wins and a 3.5 grade point average.
Action begins in the first period with Medina hitting a great reverse spin into a double leg takedown, scoring 2 points. Trailing 5-2 in the second period, Cataline hits a stand-up and scores a 1-point escape, making the score 5-3. Leading 13-5 in the third period, Medina counters Cataline's double leg takedown attempt and scores a 2-point takedown to take a 15-5 lead.
So Rory Medina from Lapeer West is the champion at 135 pounds for Division II. And now we go to the 140-pound weight class for Division I. Leif Olson, a junior from Brighton, finished 6th in this tournament as a freshman, 8th last year, has 120 career wins. He takes on Joe Zolny, a sophomore from Holt, who has 71 wins in his short career.
Olson's attempt for a duck under takedown is countered by Zolny with a chin whip step over combination, which takes Olson to his back. Zolny scores a fall in 1 minute 30 seconds of the first period.
And so with the first pin of the tournament in Division I, Joe Zolny of Holt is the 140-pound state champion. Now we go to Division II, 140 pounds. James Kish, a junior from Lapeer West, has 40 pins, which is a school record, amongst his 155 career wins. He takes on Mac Mrose, a senior from Sparta, undefeated, 55-0. Mrose finished 4th in this tournament last year.
Mrose attempts to score with a headlock in the first period. Kish slips the headlock and scores the first points of the match with a 2-point takedown. Kish is working a leg split on Mrose, but gets too high. Mrose reverses Kish to tie the match 2-2 at the end of the first period. The third period starts with the score tied 2-2. Mrose is in the bottom position. Kish gets too high with his leg ride, and Mrose reverses him for 2 points. Kish receives a stalling point and scores a 1-point escape to tie 4-4 and puts the match into overtime. Kish hits an awesome reverse spin to a single leg takedown to score the match-winning 2 points.
James Kish, in an exciting overtime match, is the state champion in Division II at 140 pounds. Now we go to 145 pounds in Division I. Kevin Henneman, a senior from Anchor Bay, finished 8th in 1999, also the county champ. He takes on Tyler Hubert, a senior from Grand Ledge. Hubert finished 2nd in 99 and is a 3-time national freestyle champion.
We pick up the action in the second period with the score tied 5-5. Henneman scores a quick duck under takedown to take the lead 7-5. Hubert hits a stand-up and goes immediately into a powerful switch to score a 2-point reversal to tie the score 7-7. The third period ends with the score tied 8-8. In overtime, Hubert attempts a double leg shot and outpowers Henneman to score on an over and under upper body takedown at the edge of the mat to win the match 10-8.
And in another overtime fantastic finish, Tyler Hubert is the 145-pound champion out of Grand Ledge. And now for the Division II 145-pound match, features Adam Hopkins, a senior out of Greenville, who is the 140-pound champion in last year's tournament. He takes on Jeff Stevens, a junior from Mason, who finished 8th as a freshman. Stevens has 101 career victories.
Hopkins starts the first period with a low single leg takedown for the first 2 points of the match. Hopkins' tenacious attack on top allows him to catch Stevens in a far side cradle, taking him to his back and scoring a fall in 1 minute of the first period.
And Adam Hopkins gets his second state championship this year at the 145-pound class in Division II. Stick around, because when we come back here to Joe Louis Arena, we will introduce you to the Division I state championship team. You're watching the Michigan High School Athletic Association's individual wrestling finals here at Joe Louis Arena. Welcome back to the Joe Louis Arena, home of the largest wrestling tournament in the country. I'm Ray Bentley, and this is the Division I and II state championships. And our next feature is on the team champion in Division I, Davidson High School. And what a surprise they were this year. They had a great season. They sent 12 wrestlers to the individual state championship finals here, which is more than any other school in the state. And here is the story of Davidson High School.
Mano a mano. At first glance, it would seem there are few sports that rival the one-on-one intensity of wrestling. The careful planning, the quick moves, and the sheer drive that comes from deep inside each athlete. But ask any of these wrestlers, and they will tell you a different story.
I think we put a lot of pressure on each other because we're all trying to do so good, and you see the person in front of you doing good, you just want to do that much better.
If your teammate before you wears out one of their opponents, then we think, wow, they're getting tired. The other team and their coaches think, wow, maybe we haven't worked as hard as they have. And it's contagious both ways. It can work for you if you're a not aggressive team, and if you're an aggressive team, it works for you.
And even someone who has garnered a lot of individual attention, female wrestler Kirsten Leel insists the team is vital in this seemingly individual sport.
It's got a lot to do with your team, because if you're not really all together on a certain day, then it can slip. I mean, like wrestlers, we feed off each other. Like if they go out there and they're just pumped up, the rest of the team's gonna get psyched. And if your wrestler, if somebody on the team goes out there and loses, you know, you're not quite there.
Even though camaraderie and teamwork are key to Davidson's success, Coach Roy Hall doesn't mind turning the heat up on his team.
You want to create a hostile environment, and not in a negative way, but just where it stresses them out. We're constantly trying to make them work so hard. You have to win by 15. You have to get a fall. You know, you're not just going to hang out and win. And it shows when we wrestle. We constantly attack. We're always on our kids. You don't sit down in a room. You don't take breaks. You run to the water fountain. You run to the weights. You run from out of bounds into the middle of the circle. It pays off.
Davidson has sent an impressive 12 wrestlers to the individual finals this year, but every team member and all their fans will be with them with every move.
We're very proud of our team, very proud.
Yeah, these kids have come up through the program with the wrestling program at Davidson, so they've been together for quite a few years, and they got a lot of guts and a lot of heart in them.
Very enthusiastic, exciting team, really work together, lots of camaraderie.
The reason you stay in a sport is because you like your coaches and you like the sport, and you got to have teammates around you that feel the same way. And I think we got a lot of kids on our team that feel that way.
The Davidson Cardinals, the Division I champions this year, and Mark, you know something about that because they beat your Novi team in the finals.
They sure did, Ray. They wrestled a wonderful match. Coach Roy Hall and his team put together an excellent season. Roy predicted to me at the start of the year that they would in fact be the team state champions, and he was right.
A prediction come true. Well, we'll have more Division I and II wrestling action coming up after these messages. Welcome back to the nation's largest wrestling tournament here at Joe Louis Arena. We'll pick up the action in Division I at 152 pounds. Clint DeGain, a freshman from Clarkston who set a school pin record for freshmen, takes on Zamar Pittman, a junior from Carmen Ainsworth. Pittman was the champion at 145 pounds last year.
Pittman starts scoring in the first period with a powerful double leg takedown. DeGain forces Pittman out of position and nearly reverses Pittman as DeGain scores his second escape of the match to tie the score 2-2. Pittman, the cadet national Greco-Roman champion, hits an outstanding lateral drop throw to score a 2-point takedown and 3-point near fall to take a 7-2 lead. DeGain charges Pittman, and Pittman hits him with another explosive lateral drop throw to score a 2-point takedown and an additional 3-point near fall. Pittman goes on to win the match 17-5.
Zamar Pittman, his second state championship, last year at 145, this year at 152. In Division II at 152 pounds, Kevin Merritt, a senior from Plainwell who finished second last year, is a four-time conference champion, and he'll take on Shane Steckroth, a senior from Heartland who qualified for this tournament as a junior. Steckroth has 108 career pins. That's a school record in Heartland.
After scoring a 2 takedown in the first period, Merritt goes to work on top of Steckroth and scores a 3-point near fall on a double underhook pullback move to take a 5-0 lead. Merritt continues his tenacious attack on top with a near wrist half Nelson combination to score a 3-point near fall. Merritt's relentless attack on top resulted in another near wrist half Nelson combination that pinned Steckroth in 3 minutes 42 seconds of the second period.
Merritt, who finished second last year, comes home with the state championship this year at 152 pounds. Now on to 160 pounds in Division I. Mitch Hancock, a senior from Detroit Catholic Central, 49-0 on the year, finished second in this tournament last year, takes on Matt McCartney, a junior from Roseville. McCartney, 48-6 on the season, is in the National Honor Society with a 3.6 grade point average.
Leading 2-1 in the first period, Hancock scores a 2-point takedown and 3-point near fall with a great short fireman's carry to take a 7-1 lead. McCartney narrowed the margin to 13-7 in the third period with a hard-fought counter to Hancock's single-leg shot, scoring a 2-point takedown. Hancock counters McCartney's far side cradle attempt and scores a 2-point reversal, making the score 15-7.
And Mitch Hancock wins that battle 15-7, so the former junior Olympic champion is now a state champion at 160 pounds in Division I. In Division II at 160, Roger Kish, a freshman from Lapeer West, who set a state record for wins by a freshman. He has 64 and counting. He takes on Omar Ortiz, a senior from Fremont. Ortiz has 117 career wins and a 3.9 GPA.
With Kish leading 2-0 in the first period, Ortiz hits a stand-up and scores a 1-point escape. Kish shoots a beautiful low single-leg takedown. Ortiz counters with a cutback and nearly takes Kish down. Kish recovers and scores a 2-point takedown, taking a 6-2 lead in the match. Kish allows Ortiz to score a 1-point escape. In the second period, with Kish leading 8-5, Ortiz attempts to hold Kish down, and Kish reverses Ortiz for 2 points to take a 10-5 lead.
And Roger Kish goes on to win 11-7, joining his brother James Kish as state wrestling champions from Lapeer West High School. In Division I, the 171-pound weight class, Rick Boheis, a senior from Jenison, who was a qualifier in last year's tournament, also has won a Michigan High School Athletic Association's Scholar Athlete Award for his participation in football. He'll take on John Phillips, a senior from Davidson, who also was a qualifier in last year's tournament and has 140 career wins.
We pick up the action in the second period with Boheis leading 1-0. Phillip hits a slick duck under to score a 2-point takedown. Boheis scores with a powerful double-leg takedown at the end of the third period to tie the score 5-5 and force the match into overtime. Phillips immediately gets busy in overtime, attempting 2 shots prior to scoring the winning points on a solid double-leg takedown.
John Phillips, the champion in overtime at 171 pounds. In Division II at the 171-pound mark, Josh Box, a senior from Ionia, undefeated on the year, finished 5th in last year's tournament and 6th in 1998, sports 163 career wins. He takes on Mike Lewis, a fellow senior from Wyoming Park. Lewis, a 3-time qualifier, was the district and regional champion.
Box gets on the scoreboard first with a quick single-leg takedown for 2 points. Leading Lewis 5-0 in the second period, Box catches Lewis in a very tight near-arm tilt and scores a 2-point near fall. Lewis scores his first points of the match late in the third period with a stand-up for a 1-point escape, making the score 7-1.
And the final score in that match, 7-2, as Josh Box of Ionia decisions Mike Lewis from Wyoming Park. Box is the 171-pound champion in Division II. We'll take a break, but coming up, we've got more exciting matches in the Michigan High School Athletic Association's individual state championships, the 189 and 250-pound tilts coming up on Fox Sports Net. Hockey Town has become Wrestling Town. Welcome back to Joe Louis Arena, the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Wrestling Finals, Division I and Division II. And we are at the 189-pound class in Division I. Mike Neal, a junior from L'Anse Creuse High School, qualified last year, has 107 career wins. He takes on Charles Thompson, a senior from Romulus, once beaten, finished fourth in this tournament last year.
Thompson starts the first period with a freight train double leg takedown to score the first 2 points of the match. Thompson attempts to turn Neal to his back with an armbar, but Neal fights to his feet and scores a 1-point escape to tie the score 2-2. Neal attempts to take the lead with a high crotch takedown. Thompson counters and spins behind Neal to score the takedown and grabs a 4-2 lead.
Charles Thompson hangs on to win 5-3. He is the 189-pound champion for Division I. In Division II, Willie Breyer, a junior from Oxford High School who finished fourth in 1999, holds a wins record, 50 this season, against just one loss. He'll take on Scott Filburn, a senior from Fowlerville. Filburn finished fifth in this tournament last year.
The first period begins with Filburn shooting a strong single leg takedown on Breyer. Filburn finishes the shot and scores a 2-point takedown. Breyer starts the second period in the bottom position. Breyer hits a stand-up and scores a 1-point escape to tighten the match score to 2-1. Leading 4-1 in the third period, Filburn is in the bottom position and comes out on top after a flurry of moves to score a reversal and take a 6-1 lead.
Scott Filburn goes on to win 8-3. He is the 189-pound champion. In Division I, the 215-pound weight class, Brian Shane, a senior from Grand Ledge, who is also a 3-time state freestyle champion, takes on Nick Sloven, a junior from Novi with a 43-7 record.
We pick up the action in the third period with Shane leading 5-2. Sloven attempts a near side cradle on Shane. Shane slips his arm through and counters Sloven's cradle, reversing him for 2 points and scoring a 2-point near fall. Leading 9-2, Shane scores 2 points on a double leg takedown, making the score 11-5.
Brian Shane adds a state championship to his freestyle championships as he is the winner at 215 pounds. In Division II, Bill Stouffer, a senior from Lowell, 59-0 on the year, also the defending champion at the 215-pound mark, takes on Ross Vandenberg, a senior from Grand Rapids Christian. Vandenberg, a tough, courageous young man, separated his shoulder 4 weeks ago, yet fought his way to the finals in this tournament.
In the first period, Stouffer wasted little time countering Vandenberg's single-leg attempt and scores a 2-point takedown. Stouffer goes to work on top, taking Vandenberg to his back and scoring a 2-point near fall. Stouffer works a tough cross-body ride and a power half Nelson combination to turn Vandenberg to his back and scores a fall in 1 minute 58 seconds of the first period.
And Bill Stouffer from Lowell pins Ross Vandenberg and wins his second consecutive state championship. And that was our final match in Division I and Division II. And now to recap, the winners, the state champions, crowned here today at Joe Louis Arena. Let's go to Division I, 275 pounds, Andy Eisler from Grand Ledge. At 103 pounds, Josh Gunnerman from Livonia Stevenson repeats as the champion. 112 pounds, Brooks Kozart from Howell is the winner. 119 pounds, Dan Jilg of Novi. 125 pounds, Scott Walker from Flushing High School. 130 pounds, Ryan Chirella from Novi. 135, Justin Sinclair from Grand Rapids Forest Hills Central wins the decision. At 140 pounds, Joe Zolny of Holt wins by pin. 145 pounds, Tyler Hubert of Grand Ledge is the champion. At 152 pounds, Samar Pittman from Flint Carmen Ainsworth wins the decision. He repeats as a champion. In 160 pounds, Mitch Hancock from Detroit Catholic Central is the winner. At 171, John Phillips from Davidson wins in overtime. At 189, Charles Thompson of Romulus is the winner. And at 215 pounds, Brian Shane from Grand Ledge wins the decision. And now let's go to the Division II championship board. 275 pounds, Eric Guychek from Oxford was the champion. At 103 pounds, Greg Siebert from Lake Odessa High School in Lakewood is the winner. Lambros Katalis of 112 pounds out of Fenton is the champion. Chris Edwards at 119 from Jackson Northwest was the winner. At 125 pounds, Jim Gottschall from Birmingham Seaholm High School prevailed. At 130 pounds, Jason Borelli from Mount Pleasant repeats as a champion at 130. Rory Medina at 135 pounds out of Lapeer West High School was the champion. At 140 pounds, James Kish from Lapeer West also the winner. At 145, Adam Hopkins from Greenville wins by pin. Kevin Merritt, the 152-pound champion out of Plainwell. Roger Kish, brother of James. The brothers both got championships. Roger at 160 pounds. At 171, Josh Box out of Ionia is the winner. At 189, Scott Filburn from Fowlerville wins the decision. And at 215 pounds, Bill Stouffer out of Lowell repeats as the state champion. Well, there it is, 28 state champions crowned here today at the Joe Louis Arena in Division 1 and 2. And Mark, it was exciting as ever.
It sure was. 28 dreams achieved, 28 hearts broken. It was a great time here at Joe Louis, and we look forward to next year.
All right, well, thanks everybody for watching. I'm Ray Bentley along with Mark Chirella. We hope to see you next year at the Michigan High School Athletic Association's State Wrestling Championships. Welcome to the Joe Louis Arena, home of the largest wrestling tournament in the country. It's the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Division 3 and 4 Individual Wrestling Championships. 896 competitors came here from around the state. Just 58 of them will be crowned champions here today. Hello everybody, I'm Ray Bentley along with three-time NCAA champion and one-time state champion Mark Chirella. And it takes an awful lot of hard work and a lot of effort to get to this level.
No question, Ray. There's dedication, determination, and discipline. Those three qualities are embodied by each one of the young men that are out here participating in today's Division 3 and 4 wrestling championships.
We saw a lot of great stories in Division 1 and 2. We've got even more here coming in Division 3 and 4. But right now, let's get to those weight classes. There's 14 different weight classes. Mark, take us through them.
Sure. The weight classes are 103 pounds, 112, 119, 125, 130, 135, 140 pounds and 145, 152, 160, 171, 189, 215, and the big boys, 275, the heavyweights.
We will start our action in Division 3 and 4 at the 103-pound weight class. We'll begin the action in Division 3 at 103 pounds, where Jason Bull, a freshman from Reed City with 46 wins, that's a school record in Reed City, takes on Eric Freewald, another freshman from Armada, who was the first county champ ever at the school.
After Freewald scores a takedown in the first period to take a 2-0 lead, Bull hits a switch and scores a 2-point reversal to tie the match 2-2. Freewald fights right back and hits a powerful switch to score a 2-point reversal. Freewald scores late in the third period to take the match to overtime. Bull counters Freewald's single-leg shot in overtime with a 3-quarter Nelson and spins behind him to score the winning 2-point takedown.
In an exciting match, Jason Bull of Reed City is the champion. On to Division 4, 103 pounds. Sean Houts, a freshman from Quincy High School with 39 wins this year, takes on Ryan Thurber, a sophomore from Albion High School with 62 wins in his short career.
Thurber scores an early takedown in the first period and immediately goes on the attack with a far wrist near arm combination and scores a 3-point near fall to take a 5-0 lead. Thurber starts the second period in the down position and hits a switch to score a 2-point reversal. Thurber takes Houts to his back with a wicked Navy ride and scores a 3-point near fall.
And Ryan Thurber goes to 37-0, the last one a state championship win, 14-3 over Sean House. Now we go to 112 pounds in Division 3, where Chris Smith, a sophomore from Wyoming Rogers, who took fourth as a freshman last year, takes on Dan Thompson, a fellow sophomore out of Howard City Tri-County High School. He finished third in last year's tournament.
Thompson comes out the winner in a flurry of moves to score a 2-point takedown and a 2-point near fall to take a 4-0 lead. Smith fights back on his feet to score a 1-point escape and a 2-point takedown with a front headlock throw combination to close the score 4-3. Thompson went on to win the match 8-3.
Dan Thompson from Tri-County High School, the champion at 112 pounds. Now, 112 pounds in Division 4, Matt Leby, a sophomore from Fulton Middleton High School, finished third at 103 pounds in last year's tournament, also holds a school record for the fastest pin. Will take on Ryan Van Leeuwen, a junior from Schoolcraft High School. Van Leeuwen was a qualifier in last year's tournament.
Leby starts the first period off with a solid headlock, scoring a 2-point takedown to take a quick 2-0 lead. Van Leeuwen hits a hard stand-up and follows with a switch to score a 1-point escape. Starting the second period in the bottom position, Leby holds off Van Leeuwen's assault on top. Van Leeuwen gets out of position and Leby shakes him off to score a 2-point reversal. Leby takes a 4-1 lead.
Matt Leby goes on to win 6-3. He is the 112-pound champion in Division 4. And now on to Division 3, 119 pounds. Nick Simmons, a junior from Williamson High School, 49-0 on the year, also was a state champion at 103 pounds the last 2 seasons, never been beaten, 158-0 in his career, takes on John Sally, a senior from Birch Run. Sally finished 4th in 1998 and 5th in last year's tournament.
Simmons immediately scores in the first period with a low single-leg takedown, taking a quick 2-0 lead. Simmons goes to work in the top position with a leg split and scores a 3-point near fall. Leading 14-0 in the third period, Simmons continues his assault on Sally and pins him with a far side cradle in 4:36 of the third period.
And Nick Simmons repeats as a champion, I should say three-peats as a champion, and also becomes the Michigan High School leader for consecutive wins with 159. Go to the 119-pound matchup in Division 4. Zach Santala, a sophomore from Rogers City High School, 95 wins in his career, takes on Scott Miller, another sophomore out of Dundee. Miller finished 5th in his tournament last year, had 44 wins as a freshman. That's a school record.
Santala combines a leg hook into a single leg shot with a double leg finish to score a 2-point takedown in the first period. We pick up the action in the third period with Miller in the down position. Miller steps over Centella, scoring a 2-point reversal and 2-point near fall. Centella immediately scores a 2-point reversal on Miller, tying the match score 4-4. Miller reverses Centella again using a high leg over move and holds him on his back. Miller scores a 2-point reversal and 2-point near fall. Centella fights back and scores a 2-point reversal, making the score 8-6.
And that's how the match ended. Scott Miller of Dundee is the champion in Division 4 at 119 pounds. Stick around. We've got an unbelievable feature coming up, a courageous story. Shireen Saski visits with Scott Susco. You're watching the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Division 3 and 4 individual wrestling finals on Fox Sports Net. Welcome back to the Joe Louis Arena for the Division 3 and 4 State Individual Wrestling Championship Finals. And next we have a great story for you. A young man out of Standish Sterling High School. Scott Susco is his name, and he has more courage than most of us. Our Shireen Saski has Scott's story.
Just go out there, try your hardest, never give up. Whatever happens, happens.
That philosophy has helped Scott Susco to excel throughout his 17-year life.
Always works hard and seems to keep himself in good position, and he's strong, and that helps out a lot too.
The Standish Sterling District Champion is one of the best 125-pound wrestlers in the state and has the accolades to prove it.
He can do anything he wants. You know, he's right on course right now.
One leading to great success. Scott has never finished lower than 3rd in conference play during his high school career and has reached the state finals in each of the last 2 years.
Now, if these achievements aren't impressive enough, consider this. Scott Susco has accomplished these feats despite having just one leg.
At the tender age of 12, this spirited young boy started experiencing severe pain in his left leg.
Actually, I was at my sister's basketball banquet, and I got in the car that night, and it was pain. I couldn't stand it. It was like a Charlie horse, but it won't go away. And
our local chiropractor took an x-ray of it, and he didn't like what he's seeing.
And he sent me to another doctor, and he wasn't really sure, and we wanted a second opinion on what it was, and that's when he sent us Dr. Irwin here in Detroit.
The diagnosis was Olliers, a rare type of bone cancer which is highly fatal. Suddenly, the 12-year-old faced a very adult decision.
And the doctor called me at work and told me he wanted to take his leg off. And that was pretty bad.
He told me I could either get my leg amputated or he could replace every bone in my leg, but it would increase the chance of the cancer spreading.
Did you understand the magnitude at that age?
Yeah, I understood. I knew what cancer was and that, and basically I just couldn't believe it was me. And I just said, hey, which one can I play sports with? He said, amputate it, so that was my decision. At first it was kind of frustrating, but then it's like, hey, it happened. I just gotta get used to it now. I just went on.
What was the hardest adjustment?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know how I like playing football. Probably sports, really.
But it was Scott's passion for sports, particularly wrestling, that pushed him to persevere.
This is a fun sport, and especially after I had my leg taken off, I mean, that was kind of my big sport. I loved it, so I don't know, kept on practicing hard for it. I had changed my form a little bit. Like, at first I dropped down, I wrestled off my knee instead of standing up, but basically it was same form, just my stance was different.
It's strange to watch him, you know, with one leg at first, but now you don't even notice. I mean, he's one of the guys.
And one who last year realized his dream when he competed at the state finals. Scott finished 4th in the 119-pound weight class and received a standing ovation throughout Joe Louis Arena. This year, he returned to states in hopes of his first title.
Do you realize what you've accomplished?
Sometimes I look back, like, if I lose a tough match, I always look back, like, hey, last year I went out there, I took 4th at state. I mean, I realize it sometimes.
And in the process, this 3-time team captain has become an inspiration for all.
I feel like you've worked so hard and nothing's going your way, but as long as you just keep pushing yourself, it all ends up being good in the end.
I know one coach talked to me, one of his kids lost a leg, and he says, boy, I wish my kid was here watching, you know, because what a great inspiration, and he is.
Everybody knows about Scott, but you know, anybody that I've talked to, I mean, I brag about him.
Could he wrestle in college?
Sure he can, without a doubt, and he will.
Oh, what an amazing story, and what an amazing young man. I've had the opportunity to meet Scott a little bit, and he's just a class individual all the way. And how difficult is it to wrestle with one leg?
Well, you wrestle with your whole body, Ray. You use your arms and your legs. There's 16 boys that qualify for this tournament at each weight, and he's one of them. That's a true display of courage.
Courage and a great story, and we'll have more great wrestling coming up on Fox Sports Net. The Michigan High School Athletic Association's individual wrestling finals here at the Joe Louis Arena. Welcome back, everybody. We'll pick up the action, Division III at 125 pounds, where P.J. Mitchell, a senior from Williamston, is going for a state championship. He finished second as a freshman and third last year. He'll go against Ken Thomas, a sophomore from Richmond High School. Thomas finished second in last season's tournament.
After trailing 2-1 in the first period, Mitchell catches Thomas in an outstanding whip over from his feet to score a 2-point takedown and 3-point near fall. Thomas hits a stand-up and scores a 1-point escape to make the score 6-3. Mitchell works from an Russian arm tie position and shoots a double leg to score a 2-point takedown in the third period, extending his lead to 9-4.
And that is how the match ended. P.J. Mitchell from Williamston, the 125-pound champion. In Division IV at 125, Travis Brenner, a junior from Martin, undefeated 57-0, finished seventh as a freshman and third last year, is going for the state championship. He'll take on Travis Pennock, a senior from Athens High School. Pennock also undefeated 42-0 and is the defending champion at 125.
Pennock, working from the front headlock position in the first period, scores a 2-point takedown and a 3-point near fall, taking Brenner to his back with a chin whip, grabbing a commanding 5-0 lead. In the second period, with Pennock leading 7-3, Brenner hits a powerful switch and scores a 2-point reversal. Brenner locks up a tight near-side cradle and scores a 2-point near fall. Pennock slips out of Brenner's cradle and scores a 2-point reversal and holds Brenner on his back to score a 2-point near fall to take the lead 13-7.
Travis Pennock wins the match 13-7 and repeats as the champion in Division IV at 125 pounds. Now to Division III at 130 pounds. Casey Hulleberger, a sophomore from Williamston and a 4.0 grade point average, takes on Andy Simmons, a sophomore from Williamston. Simmons, 51-0, the defending champion. It is the third time in the history of the finals that teammates meet, both Hulleberger and Simmons from Williamston High School.
Leading 12-4 in the second period, Simmons works from the underhook position and scores a 2-point takedown with a tough bear hug which almost takes his teammate Hulleberger to his back. Simmons scores another tight bear hug takedown to finish the match with a 23-11 score.
So Andy Simmons joins his brother. Wrestlers undefeated in their career. Boy, you talk about a wrestling family. There it is, the Simmonses from Williamston. Let's go to Division IV, the 130-pound match. Levi Conley, a senior from Martin High School, 57-0 on the year, was a qualifier back in '97. He'll take on Dan Morley, a sophomore from Whitmore Prescott High School. Morley finished fifth in last year's tournament.
Conley starts the first period with a low single-leg takedown to score the first 2 points of the match. Leading 4-2 in the second period, Connolly scores a 2-point reversal with a Granby roll high turn-in. Connolly catches Morley's arm, turns him to his back, and switches to a headlock to score a 3-point near fall, making the score 9-2.
Levi Conley goes on to win the match 12-6, and he is the Division IV champion at 130 pounds. On to Division III, the 135-pound match. Philip Niklowitz, a senior from Caro High School, the defending champion at 125. He has 213 career wins. He takes on Ryan Tripp, a junior with a 53-2 record. Tripp finished third in the state last year. He has a school record, 42 pins this season.
Nikolowitz attacks in the first period with a powerful double leg shot, scoring a 2-point takedown and grabs an early 2-0 lead. Tripp fails to counter Nikolowitz's single leg shot, and Nikolowitz scores his second 2-point takedown. Tripp catches Nikolowitz with an armbar and leg elevator combination to score a 2-point reversal. Behind 6-3 in the third period, Tripp scores a 2-point near fall with a near side arm tilt, closing the score to 6-5. Nikolowitz scores a 1-point escape to bring the score 7-5.
And that is how the match ends, and Phil Nikolowitz repeats as a champion. He won at 125 pounds last year, this year at 135 pounds. In Division 4 at 135 pounds, two-time defending champion Rick Mena, a senior from Martin, undefeated at 58-0 this year, goes for his third state title. He takes on Kirk Tackett, a senior from Homer. Tackett 49-1 on the season.
We pick up the action in the first period. Mena shoots and finishes a double leg to score a 2-point takedown. Tackett scores a 1-point escape, and Mena went right back on the attack.
Welcome back to the Joe Louis Arena. The Division 3 and 4 state individual wrestling championships underway. And our next story takes us to Division 4 Manchester High School, where Jeremiah Tobias is trying to accomplish something that is seldom done, a four-peat. He's already won 3 state championships. He's going for his 4th here today, and here is Jeremiah's story. He is a 145-pound senior from Manchester, and he knows how to win.
I don't know, I just go out and wrestle. I mean, I'm having fun. Being a state champion is just like taking another tournament. It's not the biggest tournament, but it is a big tournament.
Jeremiah Tobias's last wrestling loss was 3 years ago in the district finals as a freshman. But Jeremiah pinned the same opponent in the state finals to win his first of 3 consecutive championships.
Shocking. I didn't know what to say. It took me a while for it to sink in, but yeah, it was a good feeling.
Jeremiah is a special kid. He's not only a good wrestler, he's a great kid. He really, how can I say it? He does our school proud. He's a good student, great athlete, good sport. He's just an exceptional kid all around.
To win a championship each year in high school takes dedication, and Jeremiah attributes his success to the people who motivate him.
And that's where I get my motivation. I have fun. I love the sport. Another motivation is my coaches. They motivate me, make me better. My family, you know, all my friends. It's just, it's greatest sport. You know, you gotta wanna be the best.
He is on the verge of accomplishing a feat shared by only 5 other Michigan wrestlers. It's something Jeremiah doesn't take lightly.
Really important, but I mean, I don't look at it as I'm winning a 4 championship. I just win it. I just think of it as it going out and just wrestling hard, doing whatever I can, you know. It's just another tournament, big tournament.
His attitude is solid, not cocky. As a matter of fact, he's even thought about what happens if he loses.
I go out there to have fun, to improve. I think it's the greatest sport there is. If you're not having fun, it's not worthwhile wrestling.
Jeremiah has looked beyond his high school career and is focused on his ultimate goal.
My ultimate goal is to go to the Olympics and wrestle in the Olympics. I would like to medal at the Olympics, but that's a long way off, and I got a lot of work to do.
Jeremiah Tobias, 3 state championships already, going for his 4th. That's amazing. I mean, it's hard enough to win 1.
It sure is, and he's going for his 4th championship. That speaks volumes to this kid's ability.
All right, we'll have that championship match coming up. Stick around. Does he win it or not? You'll find out. Welcome back to Joe Louis Arena, home of the Michigan High School Athletic Association's individual wrestling finals. We're in Division III at the 140-pound weight class, where Montrell Lewis, a junior from Flint Beecher High School and just his first year wrestling on the varsity team, is going for a state championship. He'll take on a defending champion, Chris Perrin, a senior from Durand High School, who is headed to the West Point Academy.
Perrin headshucks Lewis by to score a 2-point takedown in the first period. Perrin counters Lewis's single leg shot with an outstanding high leg over figure 4 that puts Lewis on his back. Perrin scores a fall in 3 minutes 25 seconds of the second period.
Chris Perrin wins his second consecutive state championship this year at 140 pounds. In Division IV at 140, Roger Humrich, a senior from Dundee who finished 4th last year, is looking for the state title. He takes on Travis Picard, a sophomore from Allendale with a 51-1 record.
Late in the first period, Picard scores a 2-point takedown with an excellent single leg shot and leg trip finish. Humrich counters Picard's crossbody right and scores a 2-point reversal. With the score tied 3-3 in the third period, Picard scores a 2-point reversal using a Granby roll, getting to his feet and finishing with a single-leg crossbody takedown.
With that move, Travis Picard is the champion at 140 pounds. In Division III at 145 pounds, Shane Martin, a senior from DeWitt High School, is going for the championship. He finished 3rd last year, 5th the year before that. He takes on Chris Moulton, a senior from Napoleon High School, who finished 4th in last year's tournament.
We pick up the action in the second period with the score tied 0-0. Martin is in the down position. Moulton attempts to turn Martin with a crossbody ride. Moulton is too high, and Martin arm throws Moulton to score a 1-point escape. Moulton finishes a single leg shot and scores a 2-point takedown. At the end of the second period, Martin hits Moulton with a quick sit-out and scores a 2-point reversal, tying the score 3-3. Moulton starts the third period in the bottom position. Moulton scores a 2-point reversal to take the lead 5-3.
Moulton over Martin. Chris Moulton, a 145-pound champion out of Napoleon High School. In Division IV at 145 pounds, we'll find out if Jeremiah Tobias can win that 4th state title. The senior out of Manchester takes on Jeremy Windsor, a junior from Fulton High School, who finished 4th in this tournament in 1998.
We pick up the action in the first period. Tobias immediately gets in on a lightning-fast single leg and finishes it for a 2-point takedown. Tobias's tenacious attack on top is too much for Windsor. He catches a near-wrist armbar combination and puts Windsor on his back. Tobias scores a fall in 1 minute 12 seconds of the first period.
And for just the 6th time in the history of the Michigan High School Athletic Association, Jeremiah Tobias wins his 4th consecutive championship. And now let's go to Division III, the 152-pound class, where Rob Brown, a senior from Byron Center, a first-time qualifier, takes on Jonah Lyon, a junior from Portland High School, also a first-time qualifier.
Lyon shoots a solid single leg, changes to a double leg, and fights off Brown's tough whizzer to score a first-round takedown. In the second period, Lyon fights off Brown's crossbody attack and is able to score a 1-point escape, making the score 3-0.
And Lyon wins by that 3-0 score, becoming the state champion in Division III at 152 pounds. On to Division IV, where Josh Hildebrand, a sophomore from Martin High School, who finished 2nd last year at 125 pounds, takes on Kevin Watkins, a senior from Constantine, who took 4th in last year's tournament.
We pick up the action in the second period with Watkins leading 2-0. Watkins catches Hildebrand with a step over to score a 2-point reversal and take a 4-0 lead. Watkins catches Hildebrand with his head down in the third period. He spins around to score a 2-point takedown. Hildebrand, trailing 8-3, scores a 2-point takedown with a slick duck under to close the margin to 8-5.
But that's as close as Josh Hildebrand can come, as Kevin Watkins of Constantine wins the championship at 152 pounds. We're going to take a break right now, but stick around, because when we come back, we'll have more exciting wrestling action from the Michigan High School Athletic Association's individual wrestling finals here on Fox Sports Net. We are back at Joe Louis Arena, home of the Michigan High School Athletic Association's individual wrestling finals. We are at the 160-pound weight class in Division III, where Robert Checkley, a senior from Dowagiac Union High School, 44-0 on the year, finished fourth in this tournament last year, takes on Jeremiah Gitchell, a senior from Howard City's Tri-County High School. Gitchell, a
in the first period to score a 2-point takedown. Late in the third period, Hoffman attempts to turn Mucky with a half Nelson. Mucky counters with a blazing sit-out and scores a 2-point reversal to take a 4-1 lead in the match.
And Keith Mucky wins the match 4-1, denying Matt Hoffman a repeat championship. Mucky the man at 171. Now to Division III, 189, Ryan Bosch, a senior from Hamilton High School, who finished fourth as a junior, takes on Nate Leslie, a senior from Corunna, who finished eighth last year.
Early in the first period, Leslie, working from his feet in a Russian arm tie, counters Bosch's single leg attempt and scores a takedown to capture a 2-0 lead. Leslie starts the second period with a single leg shot and dump finish to score his second takedown of the match. Late in the second period, Leslie in the top position runs a great near-wrist armbar combination to turn Bosch to his back. Leslie scores a fall in 3 minutes, 44 seconds of the second period.
At 189 pounds, Nate Leslie of Corunna is the champion in Division III. On to Division IV at 189, Brent Skinner, a senior from Ithaca, just once beaten this year. A two-time all-conference player in football with a 3.9 grade point average, takes on Adam Yacklin, a senior from New Lathrop, the defending champion.
Yacklin starts off the first period with a strong single-leg shot on Skinner. He completes it with a double-leg finish to score a 2-point takedown and grab a 2-0 lead in the match. With Skinner leading 5-3 in the second period, he spins behind Yacklin to score a 2-point takedown and improve his lead to 7-3. Skinner holds off a single-leg attack by Yacklin in the third period and scores a 2-point takedown.
And Skinner is the winner. Brent Skinner from Ithaca High School, an 11-5 winner over Adam Yacklin. Hang on, we've got more coming up, including a story about a Michigan wrestler who set a national record right here at the Joe Louis Arena. You're watching the Michigan High School Athletic Association's individual wrestling finals on Fox Sports Net. Welcome back to the Joe Louis Arena, the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Division 3 and 4 state individual wrestling championships. And a great story in these championships is Phil Millerov, a senior out of Caro High School. He finished third last year, and he is the national record holder for career pins, and he's going for a state title this year. Phil Millerov has accomplished something no wrestler in the entire country has. 160 pins in his high school career.
Me and my friends, we all started when we were 6, been wrestling ever since, and I don't know, I think it's just experience. We've been on the mat so long, it just comes naturally sometimes. I'm just happy to have it. I mean, there's other kids that are going to probably break it in the next couple of years. You know, Nick Simmons is coming up, but I'm just happy to have it right now. That's my whole thing right now. I just want to put it up as high as I can. Maybe I'll be up there for a while, who knows.
It's a very nice accomplishment. Like you said, it is a little more difficult for the upper weights because they're all big guys, strong, quick. But with his speed, strength, and all the moves that he knows, he's brought it all together this year. And he's wrestled 56 matches now. All of them are pins but one, and that one went 15-0.
It's a record he's proud of, and he believes his success is a result of his love for the sport.
It's just competitiveness. I don't know, me and my friend Phil Nickowitz, who was state champ last year, we compete on everything. We're always against each other. We'll compare records, titles, and everything. If there's something to be compared, we'll compare it. So that's what motivates me.
And now that Phil Millerov is the national pin record holder, the only thing missing in his wrestling career is the state championship.
Yeah, that's my main goal right now. In this tournament, I haven't won it yet. I've come close. My sophomore year was second, and I took third last year. And this year, hopefully, is the year I take it. So that's just the tournament to win right now. It's the biggest tournament in the state. I heard it was one of the biggest tournaments in the nation. So I want to win it. That's my goal right now. That's all I have right now. That's what I'm going for.
His family enjoys his success and is proud to see him doing so well in the sport he loves.
We're real proud. We've supported him for the past 13 years doing his wrestling. We started as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and in the Growlers program. We've been supporting him ever since and traveled all over the state, taking him wherever he needed to go for each tournament.
I'm just tickled to death. He's a good boy. He's a hard worker and just shows good sportsmanship and just a real even-tempered, nice young man. Any mom would be proud to have him.
So it's a big accomplishment for him. Like I said, it's out of the way, and all we got to do is hopefully add to it as we work for that state title.
Phil Millerov, what an amazing story. A national record holder, that's something else.
It really is. Michigan wrestling fans, myself included, are awful proud of Phil holding that national pin record. We're confident that pin record's going to stay in Michigan for a long time because besides Phil holding it this year, he's got Nick and Andy Simmons right behind him.
We'll be back with more Division 3 and 4 state championship highlights after this. Welcome back to the Joe Louis Arena. We're at the Division 3 215-pound matchup here at the individual wrestling championships. Luke Abercrombie, a junior from Whitehall, the defending champion, takes on John Webb. Webb is a junior from Durand High School who finished third in last year's tournament.
Abercrombie locks Webb up and throws him to his back at the start of the first period. Abercrombie scores a 2-point takedown and 3-point near fall to take a 5-0 lead. Webb starts the second period in the down position and quickly executes a stand-up to score a 1-point escape.
Webb came back, but not far enough as Luke Abercrombie wins 6-3. He is the 215-pound champion in Division 3. 215 pounds in Division 4. Dustin Brock, a junior from Springport who finished third last year, takes on Joe Galen. Galen, a senior from Onaway, undefeated at 53-0.
Late in the first period, Brock hits Galen with a throw-by to score a 2-point takedown. Leading 8-3 in the third period, Brock lets go with an impressive assault from his feet, starting with a headlock, changing to a single leg, and finishing with a double leg that lifted Gaylor in the air before sending him to the mat to score a dominating 2-point takedown.
Dustin Brock wins the match 10-3, and he is the 215-pound champion in Division 4. And now on to the big boys, the 275-pound weight class. Dan Klippice, a junior from West Catholic High School with a 33-9 record, has the unenviable task of taking on Phil Millerov, the senior from Caro, 56-0 undefeated, also the holder of the national career pins record.
Klippice scores a 2-point takedown with a bear hug to take the lead in the first period 2-0. Millerov hits a stand-up and finishes with a standing Peterson roll to score a 2-point reversal and 2-point near fall to regain the lead 4-2. Millerov catches Klippice with a punishing 3-quarter Nelson and scores a fall in 1 minute 24 seconds of the first period.
160 career pins for Phil Millerov, the champion in Division 3 at 275 pounds. In Division 4 at 275, Wes Brimmer, a senior from Hesperia who finished third last year, takes on John Ney, a senior from Fulton High School with a 41-13 record and 90 career wins under his belt.
Leading 4-1 in the second period, Ney scores a 2-point takedown from a double underhook throw-by. Starting the third period in the bottom position, Ney sends Brimmer off balance when he goes into a tripod position and scores a 2-point reversal. Trailing 10-4 in the third period, Brimmer attacks Ney with a double leg and changes off to a bear hug to score a 2-point takedown, closing the margin to 10-6.
Brimmer could get no closer, however, as John Ney of Fulton Middleton High School is the champion at 275 pounds. To recap the action, let's look at the champions in Division 3. We'll begin at 103 pounds, where Jason Bull of Reed City was the winner in overtime. Dan Thompson won at 112 pounds out of Tri-County High School. At 119 pounds, Nick Simmons of Williamson High School defends his championship. He has won now 3 in a row. At 125 pounds, P.J. Mitchell, also of Williamston, wins by decision. Andy Simmons, the brother of Nick Simmons, also repeats as a champion at the 130-pound mark. At 135 pounds, Phil Niklowitz of Caro High School repeats as the champion. At 140 pounds, another repeat champion, Chris Perrin of Durand. At 145 pounds, Chris Moulton of Napoleon wins the championship. Jonah Lyon from Portland wins at 152. At 160, Robert Checkley of Dowagiac Union High School. At 171, Joe Riedel from Richmond wins the decision. Nate Leslie from Corunna High School wins at 189 pounds, the 215-pound champion. Luke Abercrombie from Whitehall High School. And at 275 pounds, the national career pin leader, Phil Millerov of Caro, wins by pin. Let's go to the Division 4 results. Championship round at 103 pounds, Ryan Thurber of Albion High School is the winner. At 112 pounds, Matt Levy from Fulton Middleton takes the decision. Scott Miller of Dundee is the winner at 119 pounds. Travis Pennock repeats as a champion at the 125-pound weight class. At 130 pounds, Levi Conley, decision winner from Martin High School. Rick Mena of Martin also wins at 135 pounds. Mena repeats as the champion. He's won 3 state titles in his career. At 140 pounds, Travis Picard of Allendale prevails. At 145, Jeremiah Tobias wins his 4th state championship. Kevin Watkins, the winner at 152 pounds out of Constantine High School. At 160 pounds, C.J. Sears-Patowski of Benzie Central is the champion. Keith Muckey, the winner from Hesperia, at 171. At 189, Ithaca's Brent Skinner is the champion. At 215, Dustin Brock of Springport wins the title. And at 275 pounds from Fulton Middleton High School, the champion is John Ney. Well, that's it. 28 champions in Division 3 and 4 crowned here today, Mark. What an exciting tournament again.
Certainly was. 28 dreams fulfilled. 28 boys have an opportunity to be a Michigan State championship, which is truly a great thing.
All right, I'm Ray Bentley for Mark Chiarello. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next year at the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Division 3 and 4 State Individual Wrestling Championships.